Welcome to Conversations with Spirit, where we dive deep into the mystical and enchanting realms of spirituality. I'm your host, spiritual medium Lauri, and together with special guests, we explore a world of spiritual insights and experiences, as well as offer captivating mediumship and oracle card readings. Tune in for enlightening conversations that will uplift your soul and expand your consciousness. And hello, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Spirit. I'm so excited to be here tonight because I have an incredible, amazing guest tonight. I have with me Colby Rebel. Yay!
Hi.
Welcome in.
Hello.
Colby Rebel is an award-winning international celebrity psychic medium, best-selling author, and host of the acclaimed Colby Rebel Show podcast, renowned for her ability to help clients navigate crossroads and find clarity. She has become one of the most sought-after psychic mediums of our time, you guys. This is like real deal. Colby's unmatched accuracy and precise guidance has made her the go-to confidant of Hollywood's elite. Serving a roster of celebrity and influencer clients, Colby's unique no-tools approach emphasizes her authenticity and natural gifts. Prominent for her accuracy, which I so appreciate. She was awarded the distinguished title of Best Psychic of Los Angeles in 2022. Her expertise in the afterlife and effortless spirit communication has made her the go-to medium for TV and cinema. She's been featured on, you guys. She's been featured on Travel Channel's True Terror, MTV's Teen Moms, and has been named the official psychic for star-studded movie premieres. Her insights and predictions have been featured in national news outlets and magazines, including US Weekly, ABC, CBS, and Fox. And that's a lot. You have created such an amazing thing for yourself.
Aww.
That's a lot. You know?
Well, thank you. I like to think Spirit has helped create it as well, but thank you so much. And thank you for, that beautiful opening. So thank you.
Oh, for sure. I have to say, I really appreciate who you are. And that's why I was like, you know what? I'm going to read her bio from beginning to end, because the fact that you are, first of all, you don't use any tools, which I think is great. In my classes that I teach, sometimes I teach, we do the cards and stuff like that, but it's like, you really just want to, I just really appreciate that you teach it authentically like that. So,
well, thank you. Yeah, I think for me, when I teach, sometimes, we throw in the cards for fun, or a pendulum, or I love doing water readings, and, just to kind of show the students that, yes, you can pick up energy from water, from objects, and really lean into that. Teaching them psychometry is also really fun. But when I do readings for clients and one-on-ones or groups, that, I personally just don't use tools.
Yeah. I mean, some people do, and I'm sure that that's fine. But, it's kind of nice that you are like, I just feel like that you're like the authentic medium,
Well, thank you.
So
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have like 600,000 questions for you.
Okay.
Because I have been wanting to just have that chat with Colby. She's one of those people I just want to like get that nugget of excitement and goodness about her.
Well, thank you.
Sure. So my first question to you is really, at what point did you decide, okay, this isn't so much like just a thing I'm doing, but you know what? This is going to be a business. Like, how did you figure that out?
So I think, I'm a big believer that all of our experiences that lead us up to that spiritual awakening, that give you that nudge saying, hey, I think you're supposed to be doing this. I think everything before that is really important for that journey and for that path.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was a prior tax manager for 14 years. And so I ran a tax firm, and not just knowing everything from professionalism to taxes to business to entities, I had a really strong structure in that. Then in college, I actually have a minor in mass communications, so journalism. So, that kind of really naturally lent to, hey, if you're going to build a spiritual business, you better do it right. You have to have certain things in place. You have to abide by the local city, county, state government laws or people. And I found that people naturally so far within the business, we're very creative. So they weren't as business savvy in general. There wasn't a whole lot of awareness. I mean, people would do a selfie and then that would be their professional headshot. Well, wait a minute. We really have to change this. We have to change the perception, allow spiritual light workers to step up and show that they are professional, that they are capable, and that we can be as respected as lawyers and doctors and accountants. And, it's a big mission for me. So I think kind of just off the gate, I really had a natural understanding of business and a real passion for helping people build their spiritual business. I have that passion to help people build a spiritual business.
Yeah, and I have to tell you, here is I bought this so many years ago.
Yeah.
Like right when you first came out with it, I think it was
Yeah.
one of the first it was one of the first spiritual business books that I bought because there wasn't anything else like it out there,
Yeah.
you
I
know?
think too what's interesting is right. And so that's what people for me personally, I love little it doesn't let me host it, put little Melanie. She said the selfie thing sounds like one of my former acting clients. I was like, yeah. Um, but yeah, so for that book, Lauri, which I'll tell you an interesting story behind that book. So I quit. So I had my full-time accounting job, okay? And and when we talk about full-time accounting for anyone in the public accounting industry, we all know that that does not mean 40 hours. That means 60, 80 hours, tax
Right.
season. It's never ending.
Yeah.
And so I had left that, then went with one of my managers. He started his own firm and he brought me on to work 2 to 3 days a week, right? And so
Perfect.
this is some of my business advice for anybody. Don't just quit the day job. Don't quit the 9 to 5 that's paying the bills. So then just stop and go, yeah, spirit's going to supply, spirit will provide. No, I want you to be set up
Yeah.
because you need that confidence. You don't need to be worried about finances. It's only going to stress you out. So I worked 2 to 3 days. That lasted, I think, about 2 years, and then it was time for me to leave. It was time now, my spiritual business, I had enough regulars. It was a time to kind of take it. So
Yeah.
I left, but immediately when I left, I took 3 months off and just
Uh,
wrote the book because I wanted to write that book while I had all of that tax knowledge just so upfront.
right.
So, there are some things in it now that probably should be updated, but the gist of it, even the foundation of it, you're right, had never been done before. No one
Yeah.
had ever written anything about it. And since that book, there's, some other examples, which is great. We see a lot more professional headshots in the industry, a lot more bios, booking systems. You see people really kind of stepping up and saying, hey, wait a second, this deserves some respect. And that makes me, very proud to see people doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to tell you that you put in, and I'm not trying to like just totally be all about this book, but for me personally, all of the you should, you got to you got to get a bank account. You got to do this.
Yeah.
So it's legitimizing the whole thing. But what I really got from the other thing I really got from here, aside from practical business issues to set up, or I shouldn't say
Yeah.
issues, but things to set up, patience,
Yeah.
patience, 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 patience,
Yeah.
because it's not like things are going to happen overnight.
No, no. And I think, and again, that's, I think what happens is too much woo woo says, oh, just surrender and spirit provides. And it's like,
Mhm.
well, not as quickly, because the energy we put out, the energy you put out in the work and the dedication and all of that, it takes time for that energy to be returned. And so just creating a system where you don't have panic, you don't have deprivation, that you have the ability, and believing in yourself is really important. And I think the other thing about the book that I think is very different too, looking back, we hear so much now about personal branding and the importance of personal, right? It's this whole other, now there's personal branding coaches out there, which is great. But this book even addressed that back
it
in the
did.
day. And so, that's kind of really fun. So we see so many people here. I see Aaron Gallagher in the house. Hi, everybody. Look at lots of fun people, lots of love. That's great.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Lots of love. And thank you guys for being here. And if anybody has any questions, bring them on. You guys, this is like an extraordinary thing, I think. For me, it is, right? To have Colby here to answer these questions, because I have students and I do a lot of lives. And the one thing that I keep getting asked about is, how do you make the switch over? How do you build the brand? What do I do next? That's, I think, the biggest question is, what do I do next? Now that I'm a medium, what do I do next? So what would be your answer on that?
Well, the first thing, first and foremost, right, before all of that, is to really know who you are and how you want to be of service. How do you want to show up, and what makes you different? That's really important. I say to my students, what makes you unique? And then some of them try to be so humble. No, I'm not. I'm just here to serve. No, you're unique, because if spirit is choosing you, they're choosing you for your uniqueness. So don't shy away from that. Maybe it is, I know some mediums where they're super gentle, just a beautiful, gentle soul. That's why they're being chosen. I know some for their, no hold back approach. That's why they're being chosen. So maybe it's a skill set before. So I think knowing who you are is really important, how you want to show up. I think not having a ton of services. So many people saturate themselves with too many services. And guess what happens? Then you become, just not a master. You're a jack of all trades, a master of none, right? Master, master, master. You can always expand later. Okay. But what are the 2 or 3 services you really are passionate about, and focus on them? Now,
perfect.
Lastly, you got to know your personal branding, and then you got to put yourself out there. So that means getting out of the spiritual closet, because a lot of times you still have your 9 to 5, you still have your day job. Many people. So then they're like, well, I can't be on social media. Like, my day job is going to find, my family's going to find me. Like, we have to let go of that judgment. We have to let go of what we think other people are going to say. And that's where the surrender and the trust comes in. Then you have to work. You're going to work nights and days. So let's say it's a 9 to 5. Guess what? Work weekends, work at nights. That's what I did. I'd work early in the morning, whatever it took. Then I tried to negotiate if my job, if I could take a day, work 4 days instead of 5. And then if not, go somewhere where you can become an independent contractor for a bit, and, just to have that supplemental income until you have enough clients to then make that transition.
Yeah. Ooh, that's so beautiful. And I hope, Erin, that answers your question, because this is what she says. I have a question. I've been doing this work for 8 years now, and things are getting harder and harder for me. I'm thinking about getting a normal quote job, which I love. That's great. Just to get some stability going, and then dip my toe back into my business.
Yeah. She's feeling fatigued from so many years of hustling. And I mean, I understand that. That's very, it's hard, but I don't know Erin's particular situation, but where are you focusing the energy? Are you putting yourself out there? Are you creating content that your ideal client needs and wants? Like, get into the mindset of your ideal client. Who are they? What do they look like? What do they do? What are they thinking about? What are they worried about? What do they stay up at night? You know, how do you want to be of service? So then when you are talking to them, you're talking directly to them. What do they need to know? And I think that's going to help. Then offering services that they can resonate with, continuously showing up, I think is a big one as well. And outside of that, it is some patience. And maybe, Erin, it's, maybe it is a part-time job to just help you with the bills while you go back and build this as well. And we don't look at that as a failure or anything. It's just taking time to fine tune. It's taking time to adjust. What do we need to do?
Yeah. So here's an interesting question. And this is kind of a little bit of a side, but have you ever said no to somebody that asked you for a reading? Have you ever said no?
I feel like, have I ever said no? I'm just trying to think of if I've ever said no.
Like, does spirit give you like a
There may
feeling?
have been once or twice where I
Mhm.
just didn't feel like it was the fit for me, or maybe
Yeah.
they wanted to go in things that were just not my specialty.
Oh,
If
okay. Mhm.
someone is, feeling like for whatever reason they have a demon or evil and they want it removed, that's
Yeah.
certainly not my specialty, and I'm not going to pretend it is.
Yeah.
So I will refer them to someone that is. I'd rather focus
Mhm.
on what I do best so that they get the most out of that session, and
Mhm.
and recommend them to someone who's really going to be able to help them in a way that they think is good for them.
Right, right. And
Mhm.
that's so interesting because yeah, I have recommended them to other people as well. And it's just
Yeah.
kind of like, I'm really sorry. I feel like that it's all spirit led. So
Yeah.
if it's spirit led, if you give that person the reading, then you're kind of not doing justice to the person you're reading. If
Right.
it doesn't
Yeah.
feel right, if it's not, so yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, it can happen for sure.
Yeah. How do you stay so authentically Colby? Like, how do you stay that way? And how, like, your brand, you are so spot on in
Oh, thank
everything
you.
that you have created. It's like, oh, when I look at you, I think to myself that you're like the perfect, well rounded, business person, but yet spiritual, but yet a medium and all of that stuff. How do you stay so authentic to who you really are?
Well, I think for me, I just stay focused on, when I look back on my life, I want to make sure that I feel really good about how I lived it.
Yeah.
So it's not about, I've never tried to be a certain way to get on a TV show or to be famous. Like, I don't care. I really want to be happy. I
Yeah.
want to be happy and I want to love what I'm doing. And so I stay just really true to that. Now, if those things come in, that's great.
Mhm.
But I'm not going to
Mhm.
change who I am in order to be that. And I think that that's the most important thing, because at the end of the day, when you have your authentic voice and you're not afraid to share it and you're not afraid to express it, there's such a freedom in that. And there's a peace in that. And there's a joy in that. And guess what? When you do that, everyone, when you are so like, hey, this is who I am, and you are that person, you are going to attract the same like-minded friends, the same like-minded clients, the same like-minded followers. They're going to resonate with what you have to say.
Yeah.
So why not just be your most authentic self? I mean, because the only thing you do have to lose is you if you're not authentic.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. That was fantastic. Thank you for that. So Liz says, why do you think some people keep getting one obstacle after another when they truly just want to get ahead? Interesting
It
question.
could be, yeah, that's a great question, Liz. And I think that could be a matter of a lot of things. The obstacles could be that spirit is trying to, there's a multitude of things. It could be spirits trying to guide you and we're being resistant to where we're being led. That could be one. It could be that they need you to have those experiences first, because that by going through that experiences, that's how you're going to help someone else.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
it could be that it's just perception that I have this obstacle without, just honestly, you guys, without realizing, you know what? this is business. Put your business hat on. Do
Yeah.
you think your local business doesn't struggle with sales at certain times of the year, that they're
Right.
not thinking, well, what do I do? Do I offer a discount? Do I offer a class? What do I people struggle. So what happens is light workers, you tend to take it personally. It's me. They don't want me. It's like, no, it's a business thing. You're either not being seen, you're not getting out there, you're not having the avenue. You may reach out to one person to do a collaboration, do a workshop. They say no. And then you're thinking, well, I'm not meant to do it. No, reach out to 50 people and maybe 5 are going to say yes to you. And
Right.
that's it. It's persistence, it's believing in yourself, it's trusting,
Mhm.
surrendering. And when an obstacle comes up, you got to figure it out. You're the boss, you're the CEO of your own business. Figure out, undo it, and you'll get through it. You absolutely will.
Yeah. So how do you did you start out by just trying to build an email list? Or I mean, because I realized that was a long time ago when you first started out, but well, not that long ago.
Yeah.
But like, did you start out just by like getting email addresses, or like how did you, like, what was your building block? Was it
Well, a couple
like
things.
social media wasn't quite so
Well, a couple things that
maybe.
are important. One is email for sure, just because you want to be able to build a relationship with those who are subscribing, with those who want to be a part of it.
Mhm.
So an email list is really important. Um, and I think in order to do that, but you kind of have to offer something for that,
Yeah.
right? What's their, here's a little quiz for you, or here's a little tidbit. Let me give you something of value
Yeah.
in exchange for your email, and to show
Mhm.
you that I will continue to give you value in your inbox.
Right.
On social media, it is important to make those conversions, to share information. On my social media, it's
Um,
constantly giving you some tips, giving you some
yeah.
ideas, some motivation, some inspiration. There's some intuition tests, or sharing some stories, some
Mhm.
readings.
Mhm.
So I really kind of go, okay, well, what do my friends want? What do the followers want? And
Yeah.
I do my best to listen to them. Um, Now, I think too, there are some people, great way to build this. Did it not necessarily for me. There's a lot of people who go live on Instagram or live on TikTok, and maybe they'll pull a card or do a reading. And for me, so much, I'm just not, I don't know, that just never resonated with me.
Mhm.
Um, Again, because I really want my day, I want my life, I want my time, and so, I need a little bit of structure.
Yeah.
But for those of you who can do that, that might be a great way. The idea is that you have to get out there, and
Yeah.
people have to know you, they have to see you. So, when you're first starting out, don't just start charging out of the gate. Do some free readings, get
Yeah.
those testimonials, get
Yeah.
that feeling. How much would they charge? So you know how much you should be charging, not how much you see someone else charging, so you put that price tag on it, you know?
Right. Right.
Um,
Yeah.
Hang on, earpiece fell out.
Oh,
On top of that, offer some free classes. Show people what you can teach if you wanna teach. And if
mhm.
you are not ready to teach, don't teach. Don't do that. You're
Yeah.
not gonna build a good reputation. Make sure
Yeah.
you're ready, you know what you're talking about, you know what your specialty is, and then when you
Mhm.
do, offer a free workshop, offer a free class, show people what you have and what you can do. I think that's really
Right.
important.
Yeah. And what are your thoughts on people practicing? Even if, or let me just ask it to you this way. Do you feel like somebody like yourself should belong to like a development circle?
Yeah,
Like,
so I feel like most we're all always learning, growing, and developing. So that's
yes.
the answer, right?
Yeah.
And when you think you are just there, then your ego has just gotten too big.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because we are here, your entire physical experience, you're here to grow. So why
Yeah.
not learn, grow, develop?
Yeah.
I'm constantly tuning in with spirit. Could I
Yeah.
have said that better? How could I have done it? How could I have gotten more detail? How could I dig
Yeah.
deeper? What is it you want
Mhm.
from me? What
Yeah.
could I do to be of service in a bigger, greater way? Am I
Yeah.
holding myself constant? So I'm always having that dialogue. I
Mhm.
do feel like for most people, they should be in circles. They should be
Mhm.
constantly training and doing it and putting the ego aside. I think as far as like doing practice readings. The biggest, I hold development circles as well. And so, but I also have very strict rules in them,
I
because
was just about to bring that up. Thank you for that. Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I have strict rules. I don't allow what I call grading. You're not allowed to tell your peer you did a great job, or I think you're tuning into this. I think you have this. I feel like you have that. No, that's just grading, right? I want them to give authentic feedback. I could understand when you said this, that really connected for me. Yes, I want to validate this. This particular piece I couldn't necessarily take, but I'm going to put it aside for later. And that's because I want to create an equal playing field. Right. So that you don't have someone intimidating someone else, unbeknownst to themselves or not. I want people to feel like it's a safe place to go for things, to practice, to try things. Because I find sometimes students more than anybody will test each other. And I never really got that. I don't feel like that's not supportive. If you're trying to test the psychic or the medium, that's only going to put pressure on them. That's going to lower vibration. So, we should be supportive of each other. We should really hold that space. That to me is being of the light, is holding that space, being honest, but holding that light, holding that space.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's so interesting because I think a lot of, as a matter of fact, and I know this to be true because a lot of people just starting out, they think that if you're a medium or a psychic, that you're automatically like this great person. And that's, there are mean girls at play here. I hate to say it, but it's true.
Well, I think just in any industry,
exactly.
In any industry, right? We have lawyers, accountants, doctors that maybe don't play by the rules, or maybe aren't the most upstanding. So, I think it's across many, many levels. But what we can do is continue to work with integrity, with authenticity, and we set the example, we set the bar. And then if you are teaching or yours, right, you're just passing that along. You're passing that bar down. Like, hey, this is where we're going with this. So I think it's really important.
Yeah.
Now, AG did ask a question, talked about how to network in person. I have a hard time talking about these topics with people in the day-to-day already. So, yeah, I mean, the thing is, AG, right? Forgive me, but the reason you have a hard time talking about the topic in the day-to-day is because there's a part of you that is afraid of judgment. And it's understandable. But I talk about it all the time. I don't read people. I don't sit there and go out and read people, right? But I absolutely talk about what I do. I don't shy away from it. And I also say it in a very it doesn't matter if you believe or not. So like, I don't care, I mean,
I love that.
So I think just kind of having that approach, AG, will help you open up, because I feel like when you really own and have confidence in who you are and what you do, and know that you are being of service and you are here to help, people are fascinated by what we do. Regardless, I'm talking about psychic mediumship. I don't care if it's Reiki. We have an intuitive medium here. Regardless, animal communication. It could be anything. So I think just making sure that I've got nothing to lose, right? I'm just, you have to be confident. I think working on your confidence. If any of you are lacking confidence, ask yourself why. What is it? Do you need more practice? Do you need a better support system with friends and family nearby? Are you putting yourself out there? I mean, so many times people are too afraid to put themselves. I can tell my students, I focus on this. Too many times in a reading, people are afraid to get a no. You're so afraid to get a no, you will make it so generic and play so safe. Well, guess what? I feel like I tell my students, if you do not get a no in a reading, you played it too safe. And so go for that no. Go for, that detail. You can always go, okay, misinterpreted. Let me figure it out. Let me work on it. Let me figure out why that came in, but just to stay persistent with your training, with your practicing, I think is going to help build your confidence.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just praying that my students are watching this because it's like you're validating everything that I always say. I love that.
I'm happy for
love
that.
Yeah.
Great.
And you know what the other thing that I found in your book, and it's so interesting because I don't mean to sound weird about your book, but it's like you can read stuff in the book that doesn't really, you feel like might not apply at that particular time. Like there was, because I reread the book after we decided that you were going to come on the show, and it dawned on me towards the end, you were like, okay, so here are some of the things. Do not use alcohol or any like drugs. You got it. Like, you got to like, what I love about that is that you got to, if you want to do this, you got to take it seriously.
Yeah, you can't be a pilot
so
showing up drunk. You can't be a doctor for surgery having a few beers tossed back, right? And so I think until we have been taking this seriously and looking at it as a profession, I don't know how we would expect the clientele to, the mass people to. So, I think it's up to us as a community to step up first.
Yeah.
Then I feel like people will respond.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, what is your now, not necessarily when you wrote the book, but what is your like go-to sort of strategy for telling people that are just kind of starting out to start with? I mean, do you, I know that you have a whole, she has a whole like spiritual business mentorship program. So I don't know if I just said that right for you, but it's along those lines, right? And you can go to her website and see that. But like, what would like be one strategy that you would really tell people to tap into?
Well, I think the first thing I feel like is to first and foremost make sure you are ready to have a spiritual business. So make sure that you have practiced enough, that you are strong enough, that your readings are strong enough, or whatever service you are offering. Make sure that you are confident in that before you just start opening your door. That's important. So train, learn, grow, practice. I think that's important. But when you are ready, organize things, put the steps together. I think that that's going to be important as well. What are those steps, and those are all in the book as well. I have a couple pre-recorded videos as well, kind of helping people. My circles help people, my one-on-one mentoring and spiritual gifts mentoring. My students are making massive progress. But so a lot of times in a perfect world, I'll have a one-on-one spiritual gift student. So I have 3 months to really work with them, getting them into a place of like, here you go. And I'm giving them, AJ said, they're having trouble with running into people that are skeptics. Do they still do readings? Well, I set my students up with real people, but real people that are going to be supportive. So they're not experiencing that. They get a chance to practice. They get a chance to play. They get a chance to go build some confidence there. So, get yourself in that place. Then second, be serious about it. Get that separate bank account. It's important. What is the name of the business? What type of business are you going to have? What booking system are you going to? Don't be giving out your cell phone saying, text me if you want a reading. I know in the beginning, it seems so good. Oh my goodness. They text me, they're reaching out. No, because what happens is if you do that, what happens when you start to really build your business and you get a lot of people? You're going to want a day off here and there. You're going to want your own time. And if you're out to dinner with your partner, husband, friend, and someone is desperately saying they need a reading, that's going to be draining energy. Set those boundaries early. I know for me, I set them early. And again, really kind of ahead of the game in that. I wasn't giving out my phone number. I wasn't texting people. You had to book through the system.
Right.
And having that, it might have taken me a little longer to build, right? But it was worth it, because I have to tell you, I have the most amazing clients. Like, I love my clients. I love them. They come to me. There's a trust space. We feel good. There's an understanding, and people want that. They want that level of professionalism.
Right.
And so I think it's important.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh, how much I love that. Thank you for that answer, because that's actually, that's again, validating for me, because the stuff that you're saying is stuff that I'm doing. So it makes me feel
good. Great. Yeah, that's really good. And I think just the biggest thing is Are there times in your downtime that spirit will ask you to deliver a message or give some? Sure, they will. But, there's no need to go out and be a Teresa Caputo and giving everyone readings through the grocery store or at the market, or because, you have to realize that show, those contracts are signed. Those people have given permission. It's important to make sure that we get the permission of someone, that we're not just, giving them a reading or tapping in or doing something. I always just, all you have to do is say, hey, I feel like I have a little something. Cause even for you as the professional, as the light worker, you don't want to be drained feeling like you're giving it away all the time. So know what you're doing, honor it. And I think when we do give those messages that are, when we're called to do that, like Keith was called to do that, which is wonderful, it's so much more rewarding,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. So shifting in the last few minutes that we have here, I really wanted to find out, and if you're comfortable telling us this, what would you say that your sort of spiritual routine is? Like, do you meditate every day? Do you like do a whole thing before you give your readings, or what? How do you prepare?
So for
And if you're
me,
comfortable.
it's kind of evolved over the number of years. I mean, in one way, I've been connected to spirit from the age of 4. It's always been with me. So I don't, people will say, what is it like? And I'll say, I don't know, because I don't know what it's not like.
Yeah.
But for me, pretty much every day that I can, I go for a hike. I mean, it's like a 2-mile uphill. I love to work out, and I love to be in nature. I feel like nature really helps reset me, grounds me.
Mm.
Um, just really kind of opens everything up. So I know for me, I'm a big workout person, so I like doing that. For my day, it's usually jam packed. So I will
Mhm.
sit, a few minutes before that reading, set the intention for that client, set myself in that space. But I also don't spend too much time doing it. And the reason is because I don't I don't write down notes beforehand. I don't sit there and go, who is it they want to talk to beforehand? I don't, because that's only going to let me put myself in my head. Right? If
Oh,
I start trying to think
interesting.
about it, I
Yeah, yeah,
fully trust. So
right,
as I'm talking to someone, as I give them my nice little intro, I
right,
start dialing in. And
right.
once I dial in, then it's like that's when I start. And
Mhm.
that's really what works the best. And then at the end of that reading, I just thank, I let it go so I can kind of reset
Right.
and go on to the next one. Little things, I love lighting candles. I tend to do that. Do I need them? No, I just
No.
enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't have to have a crystal in my hand or anywhere like that, because again, I don't want to share this with everyone. I think you can absolutely do what you want, but um, there
Well,
are
and
people
it
that,
shifts over the years too, don't you think? I
yeah,
mean, I used to start out, oh my God, Colby, when I first started out, I was like, if I have this candle lit, then I'm good to go. And we're gonna, and
right,
it's like now it's like, oh, come on, give me a break.
yeah,
So
yeah,
sorry, I didn't
and
mean to interrupt.
what the thing is, there are some people that have their favorite crystal, and they want to make sure that favorite crystal's in their hand or brow or pocket or wherever they need it. But I really encourage my students to not have that with them,
Mhm,
because what happens if you become so dependent on that as a crutch,
mhm.
like you
Yeah.
feel that you need that, and
Mhm.
for some reason you didn't bring it, you're going to then feel like you don't have the gift.
Yeah.
It's like a Hercules thing. I want you to really believe and know that although we love the energy of them and they can be a conduit, we don't need it for the connection.
Right. I got to read Dr. Lett's question. A few days ago, I woke up with my friend's dog telling me he wanted to share a message with her. Any advice on how to handle that?
Yeah, I love it. So one thing to do is, if it's a friend, I don't know how long ago the dog passed away, but be sympathetic and say, figure out the grieving period. But you could say, it's interesting. I had this dream or I had this message. If you're open, to that message, I'd be more than happy to share it. And then along with that message, we really want to make sure we deliver the message in the most uplifting way possible. One of the biggest detriments I find to this industry as a whole is how negative psychics or mediums can kind of come across. Your loved one wasn't ready to go. They said that it was too soon for them, or they were in so much pain, or they are stuck. They need you to help them. No, they're not stuck. No.
Exactly.
And so I feel like when we really work on delivery is so powerful,
Right.
and I think that can absolutely radically change someone's journey. It can facilitate healing. It can facilitate them believing and knowing that maybe there is an afterlife then, and their fur baby or their loved one is okay on the other side.
Yeah. I love what you just said. Oh my gosh. That was just absolutely amazing. Just absolutely amazing. I just subscribe to everything you're saying.
So here's what's interesting. AG has a building a career as a digital artist, but I also really enjoy doing readings, and I want to integrate the two. So as a digital artist, you'll have to forgive me because I'm not exactly sure what that would mean. I'm not sure what AJ, if you could give an example of what a digital artist would be. I don't know. Do you put in a code saying, draw me a flower, and then a flower is drawn? Because I do have an idea. I have an idea for you, but I kind of need to know. I need you to be a little bit more specific about what you mean by digital artist.
Digital illustration.
Yeah, but are you using a computer? Or are you using a pen on a computer? So I need to share with us exactly what that. Put an example. I don't know. Does it let you put a picture in here? You can put a picture, or okay. Yes, you can answer questions, Bernadette. We're working on Keith. I had a dream last night. My dad passed last week, and last night he was in my dream, and it was so beautiful and amazing. Right? What a beautiful visitation that was. And I'm so glad you have it. Okay, AG, perfect. A tablet with a pen. Got it. Love it. Now, here's what I want you to do, AG. This is really easy. It's get your personalized digital illustration while you're getting your reading. So they could even tell you who they are. I don't know what you need, a picture of them, whatever it is. Let me channel your energy to draw the image you are meant to know from spirit at this time. What's the universe want you to know? Let me put that in image form and give you a little mini reading with it. You could just print it out and give it to them, and that could be a great service that you could offer for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's fantastic. Like, I'm energized by that.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah. AG, go for it.
Yeah.
That's
So
fantastic.
So I think just knowing that, like, just being able to kind of go, okay, well, how can I do this? So it can be one of your services. Maybe it's how you start. But it's, who wouldn't like a little, like the picture would be kind of like the overall symbol of their reading. What was the symbol? What was the people do? And you'll have to forgive me because the name of it is elapsing me in this moment, but there are these things where people do something graph, but it's a bunch of different images, and they're all symbols, signs, and it's channeled all, and the whole thing will end up being a reading. So you could totally do something like that, AG, also. So you're just doing it in digital illustration.
Yeah. Ooh, that's fantastic. And of course, I mean, you'll find your way to how it works out for you.
Yeah.
I mean, just practice at that. I love that. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yes.
So Bernadette says, what star seeds am I? I was told I'm a dragon.
So this is a great point. So Bernadette, first, I want to thank you for your question. Now, just to Lauri's point earlier, you might have missed it earlier, but Lauri said, "Oh, are there any readings I don't do? Because maybe I don't feel like they're in alignment or resonate." Now, this is one. No offense, Bernadette, that I wouldn't do, right? Because I don't necessarily work with star seeds,
Right.
and even if I did, I wouldn't be the one to tell you what you were. Right. I think that's your soul's journey to remember. I would help you, take you back to that, help your own soul remember, because it will remember. I don't remember much. Right. But take time with it, because if you keep having people tell you, about things. One of the best things I found about an amazing past life regressionist, she said, I don't tell someone who they were in a past life. I take them on a journey so that they tell me who they were.
Yeah.
And that is right, because,
Yeah.
so, I wish I could help you more, Bernadette, but I wish I could help you more, but I want to be authentic to say it's
Yeah.
not necessarily my thing. Okay.
Well, you know what's interesting?
Real quick. So one of her guides showed her a dragon. That's what I
Yeah.
want you to listen to. Your
Yes.
guide, you got to
Mhm.
trust your guide, learn more about your guide, talk to them, have a conversation, take them out for
Mhm.
tea, take them out for coffee. You can do
Yeah.
that with your guide. They will love to do that with you. Ask them to show you more around it. They would love to. And just start to expand your awareness. What are you seeing, feeling, hearing, knowing, sensing?
Yeah.
That's the best way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so interesting because I was just about to say, a lot of people ask me, well, who is my spirit guide? What are their names? And I'm like, no, 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 no. I don't tell
Mhm.
any of that. You have to, I can give you the meditation to go meet your spirit guides, but you need to do that yourself. Right. And so
Yeah.
it sounds very similar to the same thing that you're saying. So
Yeah.
I love
Christina, put your IG in here. No. So Christina, I want you to put I want you to put your question in here so we could try to answer it, because I know
Yeah.
we're kind of running out of time and I want to get it. Now one thing I want to say, Christina, so it's Christina Cosmic Butterfly. I don't know exactly what you do yet, but I want to figure out that a little bit more as well. Why that name I think is important too. So
Mhm.
hopefully she'll have a chance to put it in here, but
I know. I hope so too.
yeah.
I'm
These
glad
are
she
great
jumped
questions.
in.
Though. Everyone's got great questions,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's
Well,
wonderful.
especially this subject. People don't talk about this, you
No, I'm
know?
checking to see on IG. Everyone's been great. Lots of highs here. I don't see any questions here on my IG yet, which is fine. They're probably asking them through the
Oh,
thing,
here
which
she goes. I got that name in meditation from spirit, so I rolled with it.
okay. So here's what's interesting, Christina, just with that, as you think to ask your question. So, when I first started, it is interesting because Psychic Rebel came to me. My last name is Rebel, everybody. Psychic Rebel came to me, and that was it. Like, I was like, that's what I'm supposed to be. And then as I evolved, it was so much more no, be your name, own who you are. And so
Mm.
that may happen for you, Christina, just because as you meet people and as you network, as you go about, someone's going to remember you, like they're going to want something from you, but they may not remember Christina Cosmic Butterfly, and then therefore you'll lose business. That's just something to think about. I don't know, you might have this crazy channel that's like off the hook. But just think about that. I don't, think about it. You may change, or at least if not, make sure your domain, everything is also in your name, that you own your name. Everybody own your name. If you do not have your URL as a .com in your name, go get it. If it's already taken, I'm sorry, but do the best you can right now. Just invest in that. It's
Oh,
worth the money just to have
mhm.
your name, so that
Yeah.
when you are ready, it's going to work out for you.
That's so cool. That is so awesome. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. Okay, so Colby has so much going on, you guys. So you go to her website. I believe it's colbyrebel.com.
Yes.
Right?
Just the name.
Considering we
Yeah.
just were talking about that. So yeah.
Yeah.
And she's got mentorships, she's got spiritual development, but business development ones as well. And she's got all sorts of things going on.
Yeah.
And she lives in the LA area. So I think, as we said, I think you're going to be starting to do in-person stuff again soon. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I have so much happening. I'll be in Santa Clarita at a theater. So anybody in the LA area or can get to Santa Clarita, come hang out. It's October 4th. I'm super excited. In September, I have an online event, which is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. Um, then I have a New Zealand and Australia tour coming up. I'll be in Lilydale next year. So we have a lot happening, a lot coming up. So
Yeah.
Melanie's got this. So it's perfect for you. Thank you, Melanie. I don't know, and she might mean that for Christina
For
Cosmic
Christina, because
Butterfly.
of the
Maybe
butterfly.
they know each other. They might know each other.
Yeah, they're
Um,
both my students. So yeah.
okay. So it says, I don't know if my showbiz one crosses over, but it was Goddess in Go-Go Boots. Now, here's the thing. I love the idea of Goddess in Go-Go Boots. It's kind of cute, but I don't know what you do. So that's the only issue with it. I don't know what that means. Are you doing go-go shoes? I don't know. Goddess in Go-Go Boots. It's so cute, but yeah, I'd like to know, maybe try to think of something what you do, and that might make it more powerful. This the Goddess in Go-Go Boots almost sounds more like a podcast name that sounds like a super awesome podcast title versus the name of your business. But that's up to you. I mean, that's up to you for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, Liz, I live next to Santa Clara. You got to come then. You got to come, Liz. You got to come up and say, Colby, this is Liz. Hi, Liz. For sure.
And you know what? You said it was October 4th, so I might be able to come up too. Oh, I'm so excited. Yay. Field trip for everybody in LA.
There we go. We'll have a party. It will be great.
Go. That'll be so much fun. So
yeah, it will be great. Yeah.
Awesome. So I know you have another event to go to, you guys. I would love to have you back at some point.
Thank you.
And maybe we can just do readings. I don't know, whatever. You're so much fun and you're so knowledgeable, and you make me feel really good, because everything you were saying, I was like, oh, that's exactly how I get it too, kind of thing. So yeah, that made me feel really good. So I appreciate
wonderful. Yeah, and thank you again for having me. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. So thank you, Christina. I wish you got to ask your question, honey. I don't think you got to ask it, huh? Keith, yeah, Maine is a little bit of a travel for you, babe. Right. But Keith, I'm not sure what you do, but it sounds like you're doing readings. So, you could just do KeithFletcherMedium.com, KeithFletcher.com, just keep it simple, see if it's available. And that's all you need. Make it easy, know? So I'm glad you enjoyed the advice, Christina. So thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you, Lauri. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you being here and spending the time with me. Oh my gosh, this was so much fun. So thank you, everybody, for being here. And until next time, namaste, everybody. Have a beautiful night.